Oh, okay. Oh, I made it. I'm 7 minutes late, but it is not like usual when I press on that button. Oh, praise God. Y'all, it's a lot. Welcome back to the Faithful Wisdom Warrior Show. My name is Wisdom, and let me give you my disclaimer. I am a fangirl of the Bible. I study it using all words ever written, defining those words and judging them by the nature of God to uncover the greatest story never told, but it's going to be told today. So when I'm wearing this hat, know that I am in utopia. You know, just like you go to Comic-Con and wear your, I don't know, any one of the outfits you wear at Comic-Con. That's me. I'm wearing the outfit of wisdom from the Bible. So when I'm wearing this hat, I truly am embodying the spirit of wisdom. So with that being said, I'm in utopia. If you're not willing to research anything I've said, do not believe a word that is coming out of my mouth, okay? If you research it and find some validity, okay, then we could talk. But other than that, just enjoy the show. Y'all, okay. I don't have good news. Hello, hello. Blessings. I don't have good news. It's true. Blessings, true lady. I don't. I'm gonna try not to look too much at the chat because this is one of those messages that have to be delivered because it's gonna be delivered. You get what I'm saying? At the end, you will know. Like I believe you'll know. I know for me that was a home run this study God gave me. And it's once again a putting together all of the pieces. I'm gonna do my best to let God take over as much as possible through this conversation. Let me pray real quick. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much. And I know your words. I know exactly what you said, and I'm so grateful that you were kind enough to open the windows of heaven and pour out wisdom. Oh, I praise God. Right now, Father, allow me to decrease and you to increase. Give me, just take over and give me those words that will hit home so that without a shadow of a doubt, you will be glorified. Like where everybody will go flat out. That is obviously of God, because there ain't no way in the world she could know that. We love you so much, and we just, running after you with our whole heart and soul. Because here's the cool part about you, Father, is you literally reached out and said, look at this. Then said, taste and see. And then that's the amazing part too. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm here by myself, by the way, y'all. Y'all gonna hear it all. Okay, I don't know what that was, whatever. But then let me go about being a experimenter to say, okay, you said this, since you real, I'll taste and see. I'll do as you say. And you have been nothing but glorious, glorious from that point on, Father. You are telling the truth when you said your yoke is easy and your burden is light, man. I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for who you are, who you've been, and how you ain't lied once, Father. Oh, I love you for that. Like, things that I could have thought was a whim of my imagination, all those things that I said by faith, by your prompting, but it was totally by faith, by tasting and seeing. And I'm just so grateful that you told us the truth. Like, if we listen or not, I get it. I get it. Everybody's fate is their own. But thanks for telling us, though. We love you so much. In Jesus' name, amen. The movie 2012 is upon us. It's real, y'all. I'm about to give you scientific evidence to where it's just going to, like, blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind, okay? Where should I start? I'm going to start with reading the Bible. Like he said, always start with reading the Bible. Let's go to Amos chapter 8. And let me give you guys a little background, too. I'm going to be reading out of the New Living Translation and the King James. Y'all know we always do both. So I don't care how much time it takes. I'm going to read out of both of these. Amos chapter 8. But I like the way this reads. All of God's word is the communicated thought. You get what I'm saying? So it's just different versions of the strategy. You know, this was a war room. God showed me this. What happened came with negotiation. This was a war room situation where the devil and God and, like, you know, all of the king's men type thing came and sat down together and made different negotiations. So God's word stands even in other translations, but you better know the King James Version stands too. You get what I'm saying? So defining the words of all of them, because if it says, you know, something in a less harsher light in this version, if you do what's right and is righteous, then that is true. But if it says it, that same verse in a harsher light in the King James version, if you do it wrong, you get what I'm saying, or you don't, your heart in how you did it is wrong, it's not going to work. It's hard to explain. We're going to get there. Okay, let me, I'm sorry, this is my other Bible just tore apart. I can't stand the fact it's not complete no more, so that's why I'm pulling out this one. But I don't know it as well as I know my other Bible. Okay, 542. Where are the page numbers? Okay. These page numbers are small. Okay, here we go. One more page. Okay, here we go. Oh. Then the sovereign Lord showed me another vision. In it I saw a basket filled with ripe fruit. What do you see, Amos? He asked. I replied, a basket full of ripe fruit. Then the Lord said, like this fruit, Israel is ripe for punishment. I will not delay their punishment again. In that day, the singing in the temple will turn into wailing. Dead bodies will be scattered everywhere. They will be carried out of the city in silence. I, the sovereign Lord, have spoken. Listen to this, you who rob the poor and trample down the needy. You can't wait for the Sabbath day to be over and the religious festivals to end so you can get back to cheating the helpless. You measure out grain with dishonest measures and cheat the buyer with dishonest scales, and you mix the grain you sell with chaff swept from the floor. Whew. Okay, I want to just stop here for a second because there's some important things. God has been telling me to stop eating all ground meats. God has been, basically, there's something about the grinding up of that thyroid. They say they don't, but that's really what makes food kosher, is the proper handling of the thyroid of an animal. So if the life force is in the blood, which we know that scientists have proven it, they've said it ain't in your brain. Your brain is another muscle, or it's in your actual blood. Then the hormone center, remember here we believe in words, right? So the hormone center should not be ate. You get what I'm saying? So God has been telling me, if you're going to continue eating, I'm going to try to back up on it a little bit. But if you are going to, because, I know that you can, God already showed me nothing that enters the body via the mouth can defile the body. That's what Jesus Christ himself said. If you do decide to continue to eat meat, make sure that it has a bone. You know what I mean? That's the thing that God has kind of been like, that's where he's been leading me. Okay. But the reason why I said that is because of verse 6. And you mix the grain you sell with chaff swept from the floor. This is the dishonest scales that God was talking about in the Revelations as well, with the third horse of the Armageddon. Okay. But they do evil things to the food and processed food, because they're trying to maximize profit at all costs. And in this time, maybe along, 80s, 90s, maybe even the beginning of 2000s, we could have trusted them. But I'm going to say, if your dollar matters, stop buying those types of foods. You know what I mean? Let's start getting back to stews and things you just can see what it is. You get what I'm saying? So I just want to throw that out there. All right. And you mix the grain, and that's another thing. A few different, I want to throw this out there, and I have to say it, because one of the things about me, I'm not churchy. I ain't got no church over my head. Don't even mess with me on them type of levels. You get what I'm saying? I am Indiana Jones of the Bible, right? But that also means that I was truly sent to the Gentile, the 11th hour worker, right? The one that ain't got time for pretenses. They give me you truth. You get what I'm saying? And God one of the armors of God is the sword. I don't know if it's the sword of truth, something of truth. Truth itself is important because it really will set some captives free. Okay. So, if you do, many locations in America have legalized. Okay, that's the truth. Come on. We got to go there. It's time. Okay, it's time to, we can't fake nothing now. Okay, nothing can be faked. Okay, so with that being said, it has been legalized in many, many different places. And what God has been showing me, and I got to tell it to you, I'm sorry. Like, you might want to turn away if you can't take what I'm about to say next. And I'm telling you, it's rough. Look, I know when I learned it, I went, but I'm going to tell you the solution, real talk. God told me to tell you, be careful about that white rabbit. Y'all know the white rabbit is the government. So I'm just going to say it. So remember, if I ever say it in the, again, right? So that was our code words back in the day. But they, just beware of marijuana that comes from them. But now that it's legalized, I would say focus on learning to garden and getting the amount, gardening the amount that you partake in. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being honest, because this is about agape love. Agape love says, let me just tell you, God told me that they were hiding mass graves. Like that movie, do y'all know that movie where they smoked their friend? God showed me that they were using fields to hide of like the people that they've been doing all kinds of experiments and stuff and MK Ultra type things, but God showed me not just there, also the ground meat. So that's another reason why I'm telling you about this, is because God has been showing me it's not, everything has not the ground meat part, but I'm talking about the greenery part. I just got to be honest and say it. But everything has its place in life, and you got to be very, very, very careful, because there are some, like, if you really know God, it's about your heart and your intentions, and everything that you do is about your heart and your intentions behind why you did them. And beware, there is a rebellion and saving face demon out there. It is really true. It makes you vomit lies. You get what I'm saying? Like, I didn't do it, or I knew that, or I did that, So beware, because every man still will be judged on his heart, even if it lied to him. Oh. So with that being said, just you're better off planting in your own soil. That's all I need to say about that, okay? All right. Then you enslave poor people for one piece of silver or a pair of sandals. Now the Lord has sworn this oath by his own name, the pride of Israel. I will never forget the wicked things you have done. The earth will tremble for your deeds, and everyone will mourn. Now, this is the part that God showed me, right? This is verse 8. Ooh, my nose is running. Verse 8. The earth will tremble for your deeds. Everyone will mourn. The ground will rise like the Nile River at flood time. It will heave up, then sink again. Oh, oh. Y'all, God gave me, like, okay, so here we go. Let's go back. Y'all, go back and look at our old videos. Go look at my old videos. I think it was around 10/4 last year or 2 years ago, when I told y'all about Gamiel and the gamma ray. Y'all remember God made me go to Warren G. That was when he said every time they don't want you to look up something, they give you a rapper with that name, or somebody in the music industry with that name. So one day, y'all know I was suffering from agoraphobia, which was really the chastening of the Lord. But and I was standing at the door like, he said do this, and it was literally the most spontaneous, like, God said go, type thing. And that's when we learned about Gamiel and the word gamma ray coming from there. And remember, now mind you, I'm gonna be as honest. This is we in utopia. We in utopia. It's only as important as you believe it to be. You get what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tell the full whole truth, so help me God. You get what I'm saying? Everything has unfolded. Y'all saw it. That's why I documented. Real talk. Okay, so y'all remember at the beginning when we saw that what's the Beetlejuice had supernova. Like right now they're kind of squashing the information about it supernova back in 2018. But remember it had the 3 pictures of it, like how it blew something out the bottom of it that it left a black thing, like a black cloud around it, but it recovered. Okay. So and that was around the time that they pulled the plug. Let's call it what it is. You know, but they didn't, that was the time that they told us it existed and pulled the plug. You get what I'm saying? They put us in. They shut down the operation. They shut down business. So, that was at the time when Beetlejuice did that. And at that time, God has told us that like radiation was coming and it was going to heat up the core of the earth. Y'all remember this? Oh, this is heavy info. Y'all stay with me. That it was going to heat up the core of the earth. And then shortly after that, right? So we've been on top of this every step of the way. It blows my mind. Go back and look at the videos. Man, I've been blowing my mind watching the videos, you know. It's wow. So that remember I did the video about how winter wasn't coming. You know, everybody said the winter of 2021 was gonna be a bad winter, and it wasn't. You know, it was like, nope, winter not coming. In 2022 as well, it was like, nope, winter's not coming, and it didn't. You know, I was outside, that it was 70 degrees in Cleveland. They said it was 30 something. That I was y'all, I keep something on my arms, but in that video I was able to go outside with nothing on my arms. So that tells me it was at least about late 60s. So at that point, y'all know the world was on fire. Real talk. Everything was burning, right? That was the California, that was Australia, but what really made us go ooh was Siberia. Yeah, Siberia was burning, right? That was when we all, like, you know, that they make you believe that it's so hot on the what coast is that? On the West Coast. That, yeah, it burning makes sense. But when I saw Siberia burning, it was like, whoa, okay? At that point, I started watching Earth Changers channel. I got to give him a shout out. Like, I ain't seen him in a long time. But his older videos, yep. Oh, wow, everything that God showed me. But in a little bit, it's like there's some details off that God put together tonight that's going to blow your mind. Like where he gave details about locations of safety. I should have put on there locations of safety. No, but he gave it in details like Merry Christmas. Here's the details, like you get this for Christmas and you get this for Christmas. You get this. Like that's the way he was giving the information, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's about to get deep. It's about to get real deep. Oh I hear you, Father. I've lost my train of thought. But I'm gonna keep going, okay? Okay, so the ground will, okay, oh, that's where now my train of thought is back, because I had to get to this part. Now the ground will rise and fall. So at that point, earth changers. Oh, okay. Something smacked that thought out my head, but let's get back to earth changers. Wow. He showed, like, you know how he talked about the polar shift, right? And how it was, long story short, he talked about a ancient volcano up in Iceland, right? And you could see it so clearly on Google Earth. Well, I remember back then looking that up and finding out about the I think it's Gakkel Ridge. But there's 3 volcanoes there, okay? There is Thor, Loki, and Odin. And those 3 volcanoes, listen to this, because I did a video on it before, y'all. I told y'all about this before, okay? Those 3 volcanoes are aligned with Orion. So idolaters would build pyramids, wouldn't they? If there was 3 volcanoes that's doing the same thing as the pyramids of Gaza. I mean Giza. Oops, wrong words. Wrong words, but interesting, ain't it? Interesting. So, now, oh, but wait, let me tell you how also I found that. Hold on, because that's the crazy. I'll never forget this too. He was confirming something God had showed me when La Palma had blew. Y'all remember La Palma? Come on. This feels like a walk down memory lane. All the crap we've been through. Okay? But when La Palma happened, God showed me there was a crack. Like in between. Because remember, I told y'all by faith. Right? Literally, I remember thinking that sounded like such a whim of my imagination. But God, you say it, I'm going to say it. You feel what I'm saying? But he had told me that I always mix the oceans up. The Atlantic Ocean was going to collapse. And America was going to be drug into the top of Africa. I'll never forget it. Some of you, if anybody remembers me giving that forecast a long time ago, yep, I said it by faith. But God has shown the like the science on it of how this is not only going to happen, it's in the middle of happening right now. No, stay tuned. It's in the middle of happening right now. So, yeah, it was there was a crack. So I followed that crack, and that crack stops at it's the mid Atlantic ridge. You get what I'm trying to say. It's that ridge. Thor, Loki, and Odin is the ridge. This whole line. And God showed me the earth like an accordion. You get what I'm saying? Like how, or not an accordion. What's that? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The thing, Rubik's Cube. How some things will go in and out and in. You get what I'm saying? Like it can collapse and go in and out. Like that kind of thing. So, whew. So that was the thought back then. But it when I saw Earth Changers channel, it became a confirmation. I even wrote a comment, you know, so that's even provable there where God was showing is probably some crust displacement type stuff from what he was saying, you know. So, pause there. Then, an old friend who I hadn't spoken to in probably 10 years had came back into my life. At, like, I think I saw her somewhere, right? Well, anyways, long story short, when she heard about what God was doing in my life, because I was a totally different person, she sent me this video by Bill Ryan, okay? It was 10 years, now it's 13, listen to that, it's 13 15 years now. But back then, it was 10 years ago that video had been made. In that video, everything that was happening in the present, in detail, it was like a video of a whistleblower, right? And the Anglo-Saxon mission was the name of the plan. That flat out. They doing it all in our face. So why are we all playing? You get what I'm saying at this point? So it was this video that, I mean, down to China caught a cold. You know, it was literally everything that was happening that we couldn't believe was actually happening, okay? Well, anyways, in that video, they said the reason why they they go through this limited nuclear war exchange instead of, and not like saying Russia was only there to make China hit Eastern Russia is what that video said. They said it. That was that video. You get what I'm saying? But they said it, right? Which Ukraine is Eastern Asia. Like, what's going on? Everything they said. Now Iran is we all thought it was Iraq. What happened? Like, y'all switched up? Like, someone got the calculations off? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, because they're the ones telling us this video is still on YouTube. It's been translated in so it really looked like the type of video that it's a saving face video. It looked like maybe those who think they could do white magic, which, you know, that means they affiliated, but they didn't want it to go down like that. They must be the ones that, you know, leaked such a video. It must be allowed to. You get what I'm saying? It must be something that was allowed to be done. But anyways, they after they go through all this detail, the man says, why do that? Why do such a thing? And they said it was in preparation for a geophysical event. Okay? Now, it was something that was on a 20,000 year cyclical cycle. Now, that became the newest mystery, right? It ain't a mystery no more. I know exactly what it is. Exactly everything. Like, oh, it's going to blow your mind. God showed me it and how it is all Bible. It's all Bible. The Bible said it flat out. Exactly the truth. Whoa, it's just crazy. So they said it was something, you know, this event, and it became the wondering of what that event could possibly be. But as time grew on, it became obvious that something coming, ain't it? It's obvious to you. You know what I mean? It became obvious to everyone else that something was coming because of the way they were pulling the plug. Now, I don't know how many, I'm giving shout outs to some really, thank you guys. You know, I want to give some big thank yous to some of these YouTubers that just by watching them, that's another thing. I scroll too, but I look for certain types of educational stuff. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not judging what you scroll. Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. But it be educational stuff. You can see the different type of people I listen to, like Bet David, you know. What's his name? Oh, his name is just fleeting me right now. Oh well. Oh, I feel like I'm like vibrating. That's weird. There must be something in the woods or something, y'all. It's crazy. But it's a lot. It's a lot. So, Dutch. That's his name. Dutch Sense. Okay, so Dutch Sense, you know how he always shows that diagram of how he's able to predict earthquakes, right? That man is spot on. And I'm going to prove him right today. How about that? Y'all, shout out to Dutch, because I'm about to prove him right. You know they have all this new type of sonar type of energy. I mean, not energy, where they can view the earth under that type of, where they could see the core and then stuff bulging out and, that kind of thing, right? God told me they lied to us about plates. Plates is that plate tectonics is some BS. It's a lie. That's the way they're trying to lie on Dutch, lie on any, that's the one that's making us not think critically. You get what I'm saying? So here we go. I want you to picture the center of the earth. Picture it as hot, right? Of course, as we know, the core is hot, right? Recently, the earth stopped spinning. I mean, the core of the earth stopped spinning. Recently, this iron ball that is inside the liquid has stopped spinning. I think that was a few, like last year or 2 years ago, okay? Now, it's hot, though. It's hot, right? When something stops spinning and it's hot, like, so picture lava flowing and it's hot, it builds up right there. Like, if it stops and the lava's flowing, it's hot. It builds up, right? So, this is all science, and go prove it. Like, go look. Science is telling the people the truth now, right? So has been these backups or plumes, right? Or plumes that are emanating off of the core of the earth, okay? Because it stopped spinning and then started going in the other direction. So there are plumes forming as it goes to the other direction. Now, what is a plume? Okay. I was telling you guys about the image of the earth where you can see from the core up, like how continents had formed. I saw that on Earth Changers. So if you want to go see that too, go see that on Earth Changers channel. But picture if you're baking a cookie or baking a pancake. You're baking a pancake, right? Because this was a liquid that is now becoming a solid. What happens when a liquid is becoming a solid? Pores start popping up, or islands, or if you was a flea while this was happening, you would see mountains forming and sinkholes dropping. You get what I'm saying? So, I'm pulling it all back together. Today, I saw something called Nova, right? Stay with me, y'all. Nova Arctic sinkholes. This was on a PBS, like a PBS special type thing. It's on YouTube, okay? And it was talking about... Oh, wait, no, I got to back up. Y'all, remember y'all made me read the book of Enoch, and I've always told y'all the book of Enoch is the truth mingled with a lie. That's the truth. That's the truth about the book of Enoch. But there in the book, it says that Frost will abandon its post. That's what it said. Frost will abandon its post. Now, I thought something else. But God showed me Perma is his first name. Perma is his first name. Okay. So so that made me go, okay, the permafrost, let's look into the permafrost melting then, Father. If that's what you said, would cause a 2012 type of geophysical event like they said was about to happen. Real talk. If that's the case, right, then we should see evidence of that in the permafrost, right? So then I start looking this up, and I see about the volcano in Iceland that is literally like very close to Thor, Loki, and Odin. Put it that way. Extremely close. They ain't like, it's not, it's like on the map like that much apart, you know what I mean? Or that much apart, but it's definitely there. Whew. So at this point, I realized that Siberia, the same place that woke me up to, you know, the scientific parts of what's going on, is having a methane problem, a permafrost problem due to the methane, right? Lakes are popping up, but they're boiling like on Dante's Peak, where bubbles are coming up out of them, okay? Coming up out of the water of methane, right? Right there on that Geckel Ridge, the one that separates the whole side of the earth, where, remember, God said, get over here, with the American continent. Now, stay with me because it's deep. Remember those spouts I was talking about? That's what holds up the continents. Real talk. Remember, God said we worried about if the earth is round or flat. What we gotta recognize is that it is 7 floating mountains are the continents. It's 7 floating mountains. That's what it is. Because of the spouts that they're sitting on top of, right? So picture, just like a volcano is building an island, it has a spout underneath, okay? Right? And that as it grows, you know, it's doing that it's doing that volcano looking thing. You get what I'm saying? It's doing that kind of thing, but there's a spout that is holding it all together, okay? Whew. Stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. So y'all remember the 26th. Remember that dream I had on Halloween a few years ago. And it was right at that point when I had the dream, like I think like a day later or a week later or something like that, we find out that the earth is pulsating every 26 seconds. Now, what I need you to think about is all of the knowledge that you know about mud floods, about the ancient history, okay? And I want you to think about Dutch sense and the way he showed that diagram on his show about like when the way it comes up and down. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you drop it, then the point comes back up, right? Like if it was liquid, you drop something in liquid, it goes down, then a point comes back up. So think about what you know from just how liquids move, okay? How liquids and oils and sludge, thank you, Father, sludge. Think about how sludge moves or how baking a cookie moves. You know what I mean? It starts off this little rocky thing. Especially if you don't roll it out, you throw it there, it becomes something, okay? So God said, picture that every 26 seconds like a drum beat. Hoom, ba, hoom, ba, hoom, ba, hoom, ba. He said, so picture that. But don't forget the spout, right? So I just described the earthquake that Dutch sense is talking about, right? That earthquake would be everything around, like if the spout is here and something just went, whoo, everything around it that's where, because as it scoots along. But that's the thing about it. You got to think of it as sludge. The problem is they're thinking of it as water, like it's just going to fall in the water. No, you got to think of it as sludge, as quicksand, as mud, as liquefaction. You got to think of it as that and think about it moving on top of that plate. So now you can see if wherever it bounced at, you could see where the earthquake would be. Now, what God showed me was, remember, let's back up. Gamma ray, coming this way. Y'all been watching it. CME, neutrinos heating up the earth. Now the earth is pulsating, right? God told me that earthquake that is bigger than any earthquake ever. But y'all about to see how much Bible is in what I just gave y'all, so much science, right? But the earthquake that's bigger than any other earthquake is because the foundations of the spouts are about to liquefaction. The foundations of the spouts are about to liquefaction. And when it does, it's going to come out, like picture a spout, it's sitting like this, right? Right? It's, or we'll even say is, you know, and let's let this be the top upper part of the land. It's sitting like this on the spout. That spout gonna break apart. But because it ain't liquid like y'all thinking, it's sludge, it's gonna go doom right there next to it. Right now, this is probably holding up something else, right? But it has all shifted off the spout. So it goes boom, right? When it does that on the top layer, hold on, God gave, like I said, he gave me for you the Christmas understanding of, if you live in these places, get ready to see this, because this is your gift. You know, I ain't gonna say for Christmas because nobody know the date or time, right? But I'm saying that geophysical event is, and I gave y'all all science, how the earth heated up, the permafrost thawed, the spouts have been moved off of their foundation, how or when they do, that's when that gigantic earthquake, and there's going to be 2012 movie type of stuff happening everywhere. And remember where they run into? Y'all, come on now. Remember back when they had that Deagle, that report that said that all these people was going to perish? But instead of, you know, me trying to be positive, instead of looking at who was going to perish, I looked at who was going to survive. You know, I want to do what they doing. And now I see why. Because of the way it goes. Boom. They going to get mountains. Like, they going to rise. It's going to rise. If you just think about sand bouncing. Boom. Or clay bouncing. Boom. They gonna rise. Just all you gotta do is now look at, with this thought process in mind, look at Google Earth, and you know, you could totally see, like if you had a cake and you dropped it on the ground, you know that there's gonna be a ridge around the side. It's gonna break right around the sides. You get what I'm saying? If it's a circular one, if it's a square one, it's going to crack down, like possibly in the middle, or those two sides right there. You giving us the middle? No, the middle going to be good. But those two sides right there might crack off. You get what I'm saying? Might break off. So, stay with me. All right, let me keep going. Let me keep going because I hear you, Father. So we had verse 8. The earth will tremble for your deeds, and everyone will mourn. The ground will rise like the Nile River at flood time. It will heave up, then sink again. Heave up, then sink again. In that day, says the sovereign Lord, I will make the sun go down at noon and darken the earth while it is still day. This 3 days of darkness, y'all. Yes, that is a thing. That is a thing. God has shown me it. It's a thing. But here's what you need to know. What I don't want to be a thing, it looked like it's a thing. Now, in what manner, in what shape or form, I don't know. But everything, don't you know how the Bible says the earth will spew out its dead? This is why. The coffins will be open. This is why. Like, if it's, I don't know if, I told y'all, I don't think the dead you know, the people you got to worry about is them creatures that have lost their inhibitions and, you know, are more like the strain. But God told me that graves are gonna rise, but it's due to this thawing of the permafrost. Okay. Let me just keep going. Sorry. There's more, but I gotta keep going. Hopefully it'll be in here and I'll give it to you. Still day. I will turn your celebration in times of mourning and your singing into weeping. You will wear funeral clothes and shave your head to show your sorrow. If your only son had died, how very bitter that day will be. The time is surely coming, says the sovereign Lord, when I will send famine on the land, not a famine of bread or water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. People will stagger from sea to sea and wander from border to border, searching for the words of the Lord, but they will not find it. Beautiful girls and strong young men will grow faint in that day, thirsting for the Lord's word. Okay, listen to this. This is true. Young people, like teenagers, like the ones y'all say are the most rebellion, I'm letting you know right now, their rebellion is due to lack of conversation about God. No, every single teenager I've ever talked to them about God, they are like, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. You get what I'm saying? And I'm telling you to a point where I'm going, okay, this got to be an effect of, of the tribulation, because when I was younger, everything was like, tell me more evil, tell me more thuggish stuff. But it's almost like these kids can tell the real ones. This generation, that, like how they call someone a real one, it's because there's something inside of them that is searching for God, like to hear the words of God. And I don't know if you've noticed that, put that in the comments, in the chat. But I've noticed it to where it was literally like, I've asked my sons, I've sat down whole rooms of teenagers like, no, I ain't the cool mom that's going to let y'all drink and smoke. We going to talk about God. You get what I'm saying? And I want to know how you feel about God, So, and I'm telling you though, they really seem to be receptive to that type of learning how to be an adult truth. You get what I'm saying? So that's important. But that's probably because there's so many creeps out there that is adulterating to where they know the real ones. They know the real ones. Real talk. People will stagger from sea to sea, wander from border to border, searching for the word of the Lord, but they will not find it. Beautiful girls and strong young men will grow faint in that day, thirsting for the Lord's word. Oh, he also said, grow faint that day. You've seen what's going on with our young people that don't have God, that don't have anybody around them to talk about God. Like, you've seen, I'm trying not to be, but Lizzo, she's a great example. You get what I'm saying? She's a great example. She went to a show with her booty crack out in front of children, as if our children deserves the connotation of her butt. You get what I'm saying? So you've seen it. So it goes. It's like there is no lukewarm. It goes really extreme one way or really extreme the other way. The only lukewarm is the person who think they ain't the other way. You get what I'm saying? That's the only lukewarm. Okay. And those who swear by the shameful idols, this verse 14, and those who swear by the shameful idols of Samaria, who take oaths in the names of the gods of Dan. Y'all already know there's some secret society, something going on. They're taking oaths, right? So, and make vows in the name of the god of Bathsheba. They will all fall down, never to rise again. Beersheba. I gotta look to see if there was a difference. But God told me something about them. I'll tell you about it at another time. But she had a baby that died. But God been telling me that baby ain't died. That worm didn't die. Or something like that. You know, that kind of thing. Okay, so let me tell y'all what he said. I wrote it down. Okay, permafrost. Let's go through it. I already told you it's like how pie bakes. Break spirals. I already said all that. Ask about. I've already said that. Okay, this is important. He said there are positive response to, like, no. That's like one of their technical terms for a very bad response, actually, but they call it positive response for when the for when the permafrost is thawing. It basically creates spouts, pores, sinkholes. You give it. Remember, it was the PBS special about Arctic sinkholes. You get what I'm saying? But it like lakes appear. You know what I mean? But God told me to tell you those pores, because remember, the methane is coming up, right? And it will either create a lake, right? It'll create a lake, or it'll create a river, or it'll create like in a cave though. Like if it can't get through to make water in a cave, it tunnels through, and there's creatures in the cave that eats methane. This is what I went to go look up to see, like, if that's the case. Like, I live on top of the largest cave system in all of the world. You get what I'm saying? So there's like miles and miles of caves up under my feet. And so I was asking God, like, wow, so if this about to happen, if this a mud flood type thing, or the water, the permafrost unthawed, are the caves going to fill up? And he said in some cases, yes. But he said what you got to understand, though, they act as that positive response, which creates, like, pushes through pores. And he told me to tell the people to, if you go live on top of the caves, not in them. He said that's the reason why they worship arches. That's what God said. Thus saith the Lord. That's exactly what he said. He said the reason they worship arches is because when something like this happens, they like run to the tops of cavernous regions. Not in it, on top of it. And those arches, for when it's moving, like the like picture a lake of fire. You know, it's moving, but not a lake of fire. But yeah, let's picture explosion, methane explosion. It goes through until it has to bust up. You get what I'm saying? So God was showing that's the reason why they went to places like the Ozarks. The reason why they went to that, I don't remember the name. I think it's like Cheyenne Mountain or something like that. But they're running to those that they are not taking to those islands over there. But they're going to run to those, run to the mountains, but to live on top of it, not in it. Okay, that's what God was showing me. So yeah, if you want to buy land or something, look for land. Like, I would say probably that's why the price of Kentucky land going up so fast. You know what I mean? Because Kentucky really is on top of the world's largest cave system. And if methane is coming up, it just acts as a chute. Chutes and ladders, it acts as a chute. but the arches keeps it standing is what God was telling me. Okay. All right, not in them. That's why they worship arches. You know, that's for them to, they know where they got to run to. That's the information they've been keeping from us. Now, he also said, think about when, like, remember it's going woo, woo, woo. So picture if, remember, this is just a spout. This ain't all hard. This ain't hard down here, but it is sludgy. You get what I'm saying? So it is going like this. So picture that spout, right? The middle sinks, just like Dutch says, then comes back up. Middle sinks, then comes back up, okay? Now, the parts on the outside, like peninsulas, they're going to see what you saw in 2012 is what God was showing me. So the outer edge to where, so when you look at the Google Earth, look for, like, just use your imagination, and you know how pancakes cook. You know how cookies bake, and how, you know how sludge kind of moves, and how if you add something in it, and how what parts would be in jeopardy and which parts wouldn't, right? So that middle cone ain't in jeopardy. All this is going to do is rise and sink, right? But that outer edge, they're either going to get mountains, which he gave me who was going to get mountains, who was just going to get broke off and have to be an island now, who was going to, okay, so we going there. Let me just get there then, because this is going for a while. I'm sorry, but I got to say what he said say. So he said, so if you're on a peninsula, you should expect to see 2012 movie type stuff. That's what they're going to see. Those at the Great Lakes will lose water. Remember, now go look at Earth, and you can see where one cone is holding up the bread basket or the center of America. From that half, like, we'll say America gonna be cut in half by the Mississippi, because another cone or spout is holding up the East Coast. You can see by like, just picture if you poured pancakes, you see how it went. You get what I'm saying? So the that middle of America, but because it's going boom, boom, the Ozarks rise, like this side of this side, like you can see what this side is. Okay, well, the side, because we talking about the East Coast, so if it's the spout that would be holding up the largest mass of America, the part going down through the Ozarks where it separates to, be the East Coast, that part would, as it goes up, down. So then that rises, and that means everything on the other side of it sinks. And that's where your calderas come from. Look up the word calderas, right? That's where they really do come from. Like they told you an explosion, but that's how all explosions happen. You get what I'm saying? So, so let's keep going. I hear you, Father. So, the Great Lakes lose their water, right? Because, or parts of them lose their water. Because God showed me that New York is gonna break off and be a part of Canada. Because of the way it, go look it for yourself. The way, if it was to do that in that area, why that area? Look, I was looking for rivers that raised in methane gas. Yeah, they told us about car emissions. Forget all that. They just, come on now. They at this point, we can't believe them. What we got to look for is, the river getting methane emissions, and they're very, very high up there. However, they're high up there, they're still high up there. You get what I'm saying? So it right where it almost looked like it was cutting it off, where if that was wherever the methane emission is the highest, that's where you're more likely to get a split, a river. You get what I'm saying? So wherever those emissions are the highest, you're more than likely gonna get a split in that place. So that's where it basically splits. The ocean rushes in, goes down, like that's basically how it cuts it in half, cuts the United States in half. No, I hear you, Father. I want to make sure. It's either through there or through the other side, like coming across Canada. I'm not exactly sure. So you got to go look at it. Go use your imagination and look at how, if it was a pie, a circular pie, and you picked it up and pushed it right back down, like, what would happen? You get what I'm saying? What parts? Like, was the one with the little crinkle there? Did the crinkle break off? You know what I mean? Did the center sink and now mountains have formed around certain areas? So go take a look at that. But one of the things God showed me, I've seen it in dreams. Lake Erie loses its water. Or I remember in 2024, it was a dream. In 2020, about 2024, I was at a festival on the shores of Lake Erie, but Lake Erie had no water. It was a festival, but all of the festival stands were inside where Lake Erie used to be. You get what I'm saying? So that's something he said. Lake Erie lose water. Tsunamis, like, no, serious tsunami. So picture, remember that cone part? If you are not in the unbreakable part of that, get ready for tsunamis. Real talk. If you're not in that part of the cone of whatever basin you're sitting on, the East Coast, West Coast, or Spain, right? Spain. Because, what's that, like Barcelona and Italy, they're going to crack in half, because if it went straight down, that whole part would just break off, right? You get what I'm saying? Or be broke up where it is, woo, right? So, I hope y'all with me. I hope I'm making sense. Okay. So these tsunamis flee the coast. Long story short, get away from the coast because of it all, and it's just going to make the water come on. All right. Okay. I don't know what the name of that peninsula is where Israel and Jordan and Yemen and all them are at. But what I saw was it forming with, okay, so there's a part of Africa that is starting to split in half. There's a part of Africa that's starting to split in half. I saw them becoming one landmass by themselves. You get what I'm saying? So it was like they came together. So like when something there breaks, they gonna go, like, picture if they sitting like this, they gonna go like that and come into each other, right? So I saw Africa splitting in half and the Sahara Desert becoming a gigantic river, like the gigantic though, so like a lake river would be, or like, I don't know, a opening through the ocean. I tell you that's what I saw about Africa, the top of Africa, the Sahara Desert area. So the East Coast gonna get new mountains around Kentucky, West Virginia, and there's going to be something called a Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi mountain range. You get what I'm saying? That's the way God was showing it to me, because the way it would push down, that all pushes up. Even though it's sinking in, it's still all, or not sinking in, but gets overran by water, it's still that right in the middle of Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia, a mountain range is gonna appear. So listen to, hey, we'll see, won't we? We'll see, won't we? Sounds crazy to me too, but no, I could see it. God showed it clear as day. India is sinking. God told me India is gonna sink. Like where it, by the end of it, you won't see as much of India anymore. It might like be a circle or an island or something, but God was showing me India is sinking. So I already told you the U.S. gets cut in half. In South America, mountains are gonna form. Mountains are gonna form near Chile. No, Chile is gonna be flooded. Chile's gonna be flooded, but I think it was Bolivia. Bolivia was gonna get mountains. Go look this stuff up. I have no way of faking this. Like, there should be some geological evidence on if there's, or clues on if what I'm saying is true. I haven't looked it up. I gotta go look it up, right? So, but Bolivia should rise because of Chile's sinking, right? Like, cause it's gonna rise, then fall, right? So Chile, it ain't looking good for Chile, but Bolivia and them are, if they don't have really high mountain ranges, they about to get some bigger mountain ranges is what I saw. This is when God had said this is what they get for Christmas type thing. That some of these places about to get some mountains. So Chile falls in. Alaska and Russia break and become one island or some kind of another. They go together. Like God showed me, that Gecko Ridge thing is on the other side of them. If it is like the dial of a pole shift, like where that whole thing gonna crack, then same thing would happen to that part of Russia and that part of Alaska. They would do this, which at that moment was when I knew God was telling the truth, because ain't that how they said that the people got to America back before Columbus, is they walked from Alaska, I mean they walked across Russia into Alaska onto the American continent. Yeah, that goes back together. That makes sense. It's gonna fall back together. Catalina breaks off. I don't know if it it can't fall. I don't know if it falls all the way in, but remember, like sludge, a lot of this stuff just gonna move like sludge, so it might just turn over and fall. But I think it's called Catalina, like Mexico down there. That part that's sticking out, you push it in. The guy showed me that means the whole. Don't you know those maps from, back a long time ago, showed like a sea going through or a river going through, like a West Coast river? Yeah, that's coming back. Like a West Coast river over there is coming back. Idaho is going to get mountains. The Ozarks is going to rise. Florida is either it's going to be a island. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be like an island, because it's all the water that's going to get brushed in. And remember, it's going like this. And that poor peninsula, maybe the Miami might rise, but the rest would go in. You get what I'm saying? From a serious jerk. So Florida not looking good. Barcelona breaks in half, right? Like it and gets mountains. Like it would break and like have some type of river basin. was kind of what God was showing me, but it would still get mountains around the outer edge. Same thing with Italy. I mean, Italy has the same thing going on as Florida. It's going to be an island of some type. But let's go there. God, remember I told y'all, the Bible says they got to seal up vision and anoint the most holy place. God told me flat out, y'all, they lying about Israel, where that ain't the place. Israel. It is the whole. The words don't lie. It's called the Holy See. SEE. But here we go. Ooh, 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 ooh. I just heard God say, y'all didn't keep my earth holy, so I'm about to make it holy. Like with the pores. Like how he was talking about, like, that. So it was literally like the word holy. Because if you, ooh, like, ooh, he gonna make the earth holy. Mm, 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 mm. He said, I hear him saying, if they listen, they'll be safe. But if they listen, not to me, listen to him. Because he's telling me, basically the feeling I'm getting is as if he's saying, he's talking to many of you, but y'all too scared to make a move, or y'all. But so he said, if they listen to him, like, I'm only here for confirmation. I'm not here for, if I'm telling you something brand new, this was the honors class. You went to the wrong class. Go start back off with how you feel about Zeta guys. You get what I'm saying? Start off there. Rose, girl. Okay, so my phone has been off until yesterday. I've been thinking about you every day, my love. But my phone's been off since yesterday. I mean, no, been off before then, but it came back on yesterday. So I had my friends here. I'm sure you probably saw that on Facebook, but praise God, I'm glad you're here. Whew. Oh, whew. Iran gets mountains is what God showed me. The Philippines rises. Now, mind you, yes, it's gonna be some time, but no, you gotta understand this too. When this core breaks or sludges, or the poles shift, because remember, that's what I was trying to tell y'all before. This line, you go look at Google Earth and look for the line. It's almost like the pole shift, though magnetic, though something we normally don't see, this magnetic understanding. But he said, you see light, don't you? The auroras, don't you? That's the way it's gonna crack. And when it does, it's gonna do this along that line. You get what I'm saying? But it's going to be liquefaction. Liquefaction. So when it does, the way that, for lack of a better word, plate. But the plate is what messed everybody up on how to understand this. Now, y'all better think about cake. You know what I mean? Or floating mountain with those, spouts deep underneath, the Philippines, Vietnam gonna rise. Vietnam gonna become like an island, and it's gonna rise. The South China Sea disappears. The whole middle of it comes up, and now it becomes more shallow, if nothing else. So go look this up. If I'm telling the truth, there should be some scientific thing that says the South China Sea is gonna possibly be no more one day. You get what I'm saying? You know how to go research this stuff. But be slick about it on some. If this, then me talking about the permafrost and gamma rays and radiation and how the fires came from the inside of the earth. You got to go look up the scientific things about it and not just be looking at stories. You give them a person who believes a story will fall for anything, but a person that looks for the moral to a story will gain an understanding, you know? Whew. Oh, so just know this, a lot of the Japan, China, a lot of that is going to rise. Now I see how islands like become gigantic landmass. It looked like Tonga might have like become God's holy mountain, might rise right there in that location. Like God's holy mountain that he says that he is gathering some people to might be there, you know. But a lot of that area is gonna rise, okay? Atlantis in the, now mind you, y'all probably have seen where it said that there was gonna be something rising, right? Like Atlantis in the Atlantic, right? I could see it. Yes. Like down in Puerto Rico, not Puerto Rico, Haiti type area. Down in that type of area, it looked like some type of land mass could rise, right? And like I said, this is just from looking at Google Earth and extrapolating the effects of sand being beaten like this, boom, or sludge or smudge, like ooh. And that's that area right there. If you look at it from Google Earth, that area looks like it should rise. Then it does. It looks like it should rise. Yeah. So there should be a Samoa Mountain, right? Samoa Mountain should be a thing. So this is on that day. I don't know when that day is. I know that it's very soon, and I can't stop seeing 23 everywhere. So I don't know. But all of it's Bible too, though. That's the thing that you got to know by Amos 8. The land rises. Like if it moved off of its foundation, it would rise, then fall in a new foundation. You get what I'm saying? So the Bible did not lie. He said the foundations of the earth will be moved off of its spot. You know what I mean? He didn't lie. It's happening. Go look at, if you don't look at nothing else I've said, go watch the PBS Arctic sinkholes about the permafrost video. I mean, that alone, right? That alone speaks volumes, you know. I love you guys. I want to look at the comments and things. I am going to screenshot them so that way, because I can't never find them or read them ever again after this is over. But it's because y'all see it's a lot of information, and I'm trying to give it to you, what's the word, like as it happens, you know, in sequence, so that, dang, y'all was talking. I missed all this. Y'all had a great time. But God said, you know, we'll get caught up in that. And that's also a trick of the enemy. I don't think y'all are enemies, but y'all know, y'all, the real ones of God, y'all have been on chats and went, where did that come from? That don't make no sense. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be deterred from my mission. So I'm going to read that later. And plus it's a lot. I can't go back on it, and I can't go back and read it now, and I'm super tired, and I need something to drink, and I think I've done what God said. So go look at our old videos. Don't allow this short past to be fleeting in memory. Like, y'all saw it happen. Y'all saw Beetlejuice. Y'all saw the earth stop spinning. Y'all saw the gamma ray on its way. Y'all saw it. And y'all can think about the extrapolation of the implications of everything I just said. But they got us looking at aliens, right? I bet you aliens are going to be the cause of the earth cracking in half when it happens, according to them, you know. But no, God himself said that the foundations of the earth are going to be broke apart. And he said this time around, he not doing just the flood. This ain't about rain this time. No, 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 no. He said, no, Pete, this is every way which possible. So that, oh, that's another thing, y'all. Watch the real, like God showed me, and he showed me a long time ago, so I'm not going to start denying what he, I mean, you know, I'm not going to start denying him now, you know. Remember I told y'all that Israel they talking about ain't the real Israel. It's Spain. It's Spain, Rome. It's over there. That Iberian Peninsula, that was real Abraham land that they gave Abraham and his peeps. How do I know? Go why they ain't at war. Like, not that I knew of. But you know, like thousands, like God has shut up the womb over there. Go look. Go look at Worldometer. You know, don't take my word for it. You know, you'd be a fool if you took my word for that. Such a thing where, no, people stop being born in the place that God showed me was the Holy Land a long, 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 long time ago. A long, long, long time ago. He showed me that would be the equivalent of Zion or, yeah, that would be the equivalent of Zion because they were already gathered from there. See, people don't understand that. They were gathered from there. Just go look it up yourself, you know. But also, how about this? Just go look at the population. Like thousands have died in the past week without babies being born in those locations. Go just on World Meters live meter, Italy, Portugal, Spain. And if you wondering how I know about them, how God took me to them in the first place, 1492. Go look. That was the last known whereabouts of, forget Spain being created. No, forget that. Forget America being created. No, forget that. Forget all that, you know, like forget all that other stuff. Go. I remember I went to the Jewish Museum. Y'all remember? And that's the last known whereabouts of the true Hebrew Israelites. That's the last known whereabouts. So wherever they went to seems to be the gathering. You get what I'm saying? That seems to have been that time that some people was gathered and taken somewhere. Okay? But know this. Go look. Why ain't the war happening over in Ukraine? Ain't it happening in Russia? Ain't it happening in Israel? Why is their population dying so like no, ain't no babies replenishing it, and it's at a rapid rate. Go look, World Meter. I'm not, you know, that's facts. So this was all educational purposes, and I wish I you know had like, you know, somebody to create animations to what I say, you know, or what I just said. But go watch Earth Changers channel to see the plumes, right? Go watch Dutch Sense to see how, you know, how sludge or, you know, he always shows that video of waves moving, you know what I mean? And then talk to God about it. Read the Bible and read Amos 8. You know, that's another thing. All this started with the book of Amos. Y'all remember that? I sat down and I was famous Amos cookies. I didn't even know there was a book of Amos. But yeah, it's gonna rise. It has to rise, and like as it's on. Let's say it's on its notch. It has to go. You get what I'm saying? So nothing seemed to have lied, except for us to ourselves. You know. So I just want to say God bless all of you, and I did it. I did what God said do. But I would say if you have money to go buy land, let's say you don't want it in the banks anyways, buy land in Kentucky or land over top of that, of caves. Like go to the top of mountains top of mountains. Because that means if it's going like this, that means last time it did like that, that mountain rose. So it's just going to go higher. You get what I'm saying? So go to the mountains. I see. Look, now I see why go to the mountains is the word. Go over top or cavern, you know, where arches, go live on top of the arches. Make a move so that this is worth it, you know? Like, it's always worth it, Father. Please forgive me. Because I just heard God saying, you doing this for fun right now, because if they didn't listen to me, why would they listen to you? I hear you, Father. I love y'all. Have a good night.